this short video, we'll go over Unit 1 discussion topic and how to check the credit card numbers. So we're going to use Loon's algorithm, also known as the Mod 10 algorithm. And this algorithm was named after Hans Peter Loon, who worked at IBM. It uses modular arithmetic to determine the validity of a credit card number, and it can detect any single-digit error as well as almost all transpositions of adjacent digits, meaning if you had a 3-4 in your credit card number and you transposed it to 4-3 when you were entering it online, for instance. So I'm going to demonstrate the example first using this credit card number. The first question in the discussion is going to ask you to identify the issuer of the credit card, and the first 6 digits identify the card issuer, and there's a table in the instructions for the major credit card issuers. And we see in this case that the number starts with a 52, which tells us that it was issued by MasterCard. So now we're going to use Loon's algorithm. So what you do is you start on the right-hand side of the number, and then the next to the last digit, so one digit from the right, you're going to underline or highlight every other digit. And you see I did that here by underlining. You could also highlight it. In the next step, you're going to double each of the underlined or highlighted numbers. So you notice here I doubled 9 to get 18, I doubled 1 to get 2, over here 3 to get 6. And notice sometimes I get 2 digits when I double, and they're going to be treated as individual numbers in the next step. So we're going to go ahead and move on to the next step. So here's what we had from step 2. Now we want to add all the digits, but we're going to separate those double-digit products into 2 numbers. So if you notice here, the 10 gets separated into a 1 and a 0, the 16 gets separated into a 1 and a 6, and the 18 gets separated into a 1 and an 8. Now I want to add up all those individual digits. And in this case, I get a sum of 60. Now, since 60, in order for the credit card number to be valid, it must be congruent to 0 mod 10, which means when I divide that sum by 10, I have to get a remainder of 0. And I do. When I divide 60 by 10, I get 6 remainder 0. So this credit card is valid. All right, let's try another credit card number. So the first question is, who issued the credit card? So we're going to use that table again, and we notice down here it starts with a 3-4, so it must have been issued by American Express. All right, so now in the next steps, you may want to stop this PowerPoint, this little video, and check this on your own and see if you follow the steps that I followed. So we're going to check this credit card number. So we're going to do the same steps that we did before. We're going to start on the right-hand side, and we're going to underline and highlight the second digit from the right all the way over to the left. And then the next step, we're going to double each underlined digit. So again, if you notice, now we have actually several doubled numbers here. 7 goes to 14, and let me go back for a second. 7 goes to 14, 5 goes to 10, 3 goes to 6. Here we go. 7 goes to 14, 5 goes to 10. And then we're going to go on to the next step, which we talked about before. We're going to separate those out. So the 10 is going to become a 1 and a 0, the 14 a 1 and a 4, and again we have a 10 and a 14 over here. Okay, so now we're going to add up all those single digits, and this time we get 74. So 74 is not congruent to 0 mod 10 rather, because when we divide 74 by 10, we get 7 remainder 4. So this credit card is not valid. So to summarize, we tested the validity of 2 credit card numbers. The first number is shown here. This was issued by MasterCard, and it was valid because it had a sum of 60. This credit card, the second one we did, was issued by American Express, but it was not valid because we came up with a sum of 73. For your assignment, you're going to pick one of these 5 numbers that's provided in the instructions, and you're going to go through the steps. You're going to answer these questions. Who issued the credit card? And then using the Loon's algorithm, what is the sum that you get? And then based on that sum, what do you conclude? Is the credit card valid or not? And explain your answer.